On this episode of Just Seen It, we review the new indie comedy For a Good Time Call.
I want to make a third of the profits, and I'm not getting on the phone. It's strictly business.
Ooh, I like a little fire in there.
Where's the comedy come from? It comes from them having problems getting the business off the ground, them having disagreements about how to run the business.
Matthew Perry's new NBC sitcom, Go On.
When you sit here listening to someone else's problems, you may smile and nod, but he's right. A big part of you is thinking, my thing's worse than your thing. Am I right?
It's not Matthew Perry just being witty and hilarious. It's very emotionally realistic.
The Prohibition-era drama, LAWLESS.
Oh, you gotta be kidding. Come on, you got a better idea.
Just kind of shot what was there. He shot it in an interesting way, but he couldn't find anything else to really sink his teeth into as a director.
And the new Fox drama, The Mob Doctor.
2, 1. Soma, give me a shot of answer in 10 minutes.
There's a little too much drama. They kind of pile it on, and more things go wrong.
All right here on Just Seen It.
Is this yours? Yeah, sorry, I think it's empty. Perfect! Ta-da! Sino spills that off. Get out.
College enemies Lauren and Katie are forced to share an apartment.
You.
Lauren is soon horrified to discover that Katie is a phone sex operator.
Gotta go, bye. Your dad says hi.
After losing her job, Lauren joins Katie doing phone sex and finds she is better at it than both could have imagined in For a Good Time Call.
Hey there. Yeah, I know, it's late. What are you wearing? Yeah?
Oh, it's my mom.
Okay, I'm Sean.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm David, and we're here today to talk about For a Good Time Call. And we've all just seen it.
Yes.
I kind of sense that Rachel should start us off on this one.
Really? She had her moment already. I don't know.
I know, I had a moment too. But
I'm still going, I got more.
Go ahead,
myself for this.
TMI. I thought it was great. I thought it was a wonderful, very clever, very witty, cute, intelligent movie. It's nice to get to see a movie that has female characters as leads. It's sort of like the idea of the bromance romantic comedy, except that it's a womance.
Womance, okay.
And I thought it was refreshing to get to see that. I liked watching, you know, this friendship unfold. I thought it was very well done.
Whatever they say, I just tell them I want to lick it. Okay, ew. You know you're not better than me. You're not better than phone sex.
Well, whoa is an appropriate word for it. Did that phone call go to your head? I think this is one of the worst. It's one of the worst movies of the year. It's
one of the worst movies
of the year.
Wow,
no.
Sean. Okay.
You know, it's hard to get more uncomfortable watching a movie than a movie that's not funny.
And you didn't think this is funny?
Not a single second of this picture was funny.
Oh my God.
And I was uncomfortable. I wanted to call a taxi cab to get me out of the movie theater.
Why were you so uncomfortable?
Because it wasn't funny. I thought I made that rather clear. Unfunny equals uncomfortable.
I didn't know if it was an awkward film for you, or if it was a girly film for you, or what the...
I like girly films.
Okay, so it's just that it was not funny.
Why wasn't it funny?
Well, I mean,
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why, because I didn't laugh.
Okay.
I mean, there's a sign of a comedy right there. It's funny if you laugh. I didn't laugh.
Okay, well, I laughed a lot
and so did I.
Right.
Wow, okay, so it's got an edge to it. All right, so the jokes are all a whole bunch of sexual jokes, and they're a whole bunch of
But they're all
F-words.
different, and they're all clever.
No, they're not different.
Okay. There's also roommate jokes.
Right.
And there's...
What are the roommate jokes?
Well, there's the whole premise of this movie in that these two girls have to live together or they're going to be homeless because they're both having serious money problems.
Right.
Sweetie, tell us some more about the new place.
The apartment is spectacular. My roommate is whatever. Katie, there's no toilet paper. What? I can't hear you. I'm running late. Bye.
Just their whole dynamic. There's a lot of humor that comes out of an oddly paired friendship.
It's truly, they're an odd couple.
Screenplay 101 bases itself on one word. T-E-N-S-I-O-N.
And you don't think there's any tension in the first half an hour of this movie?
If you
Maybe it's too subtle for you, Sean.
No, it's not. It's
zing.
missing. If you put two people together who are roommates, who are trying to work things out, who are enemies, where's the comedy come from? It comes from them having problems getting the business off the ground, them having disagreements about how to run the business.
They have
No, they don't. Them having disagreements about where the money from the business is going to go, it doesn't hit any of these marks.
Well, no,
it's
but
not
it moves
a smart
past
enough
them.
screenplay.
I actually like that it moves past that.
But
it
then
moves
there's no
past
comedy.
No, there is, because then they hire someone and that person doesn't work out.
Well, it's probably a good time for us to take a drink. And let's talk about the acting in this movie. Now, Lauren Miller plays one of the lead roles. She plays Lauren, and she's also one of the co-writers. And the wonderful Ari Grainer plays Katie. And I think that she completely steals at least the first half of this movie. She has such a great physical presence, and she's such a great comedic actress. Every time she's on screen, you want to laugh, even if she hasn't said anything. But by the same token, Lauren has a much tougher role playing the straight person. And she does a wonderful job of having a true story arc. She's a very different person at the end of the movie than she is at the beginning.
When you have a movie like this, you know, it's possible to compliment both actresses and say, yes, Ari Grainer, you know, she's fabulous. She's a fantastic character actor. She's got great, you know, comedic chops.
Absolutely.
And she's very physical. And Lauren Miller is subtle, grounded, and very emotionally, you know, available.
And we've totally tuned out Sean at this point,
Yes,
but he's
Sean.
ready to jump in. Sean, go ahead.
I mean, you're right. You can't make stuff that's not funny.
Did we see the same movie?
I like Ari Grainer. I think she's talented, and she shows that she has some presence. I think Lauren Miller is only in this picture because she's a co-writer on the script.
Well, perhaps we can agree on some of the supporting roles at least. Justin Long plays the typical witty gay sidekick, which I abhor in movies.
Does it bother you?
It bothers me terribly, but he does a good job playing the witty gay sidekick.
He does, and this I will say too, he's a little bit, they've made him a hipster, they've made him a comedian, they've tried to give him a little bit of a different take.
Cut! Can I just say something? It felt a little stiff the last time.
I'd call.
There's these cameos that are interspersed throughout the movie. You've got Kevin Smith and Seth Rogen and Ken Marino, and the only thing they did for me was I was just waiting for more cameos.
Which didn't come
after those three. I was like, is there another one? No.
The main thing for me for this movie is the writing is fantastic and the acting is fantastic.
Neither.
This is a wonderful, smart, witty, creative, fun film. I give it a see it.
For a good time, call a different movie. Skip it.
Wow, okay. Well, this movie definitely follows in the footsteps of Bridesmaids, showing us that women can be funny and raunchy. I give it a see it.
All right, well, it looks like our votes add up to 2 tickets, which is an unfortunate stream it for a good time call. Cheers.
Cheers.
Scrooge.
Matthew Perry stars in this new NBC comedy about a radio sportscaster dealing with the loss of his wife.
She's the only girl I ever loved, and now she's gone.
In order for him to return to work, he must attend therapy against his will.
I think this is all kind of dumb.
But Matthew finds he has more in common with the group than he thought. In Go On.
Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm Liz.
Hi, I'm Aaron. And I'm Greg. And we're here to talk about Go On, the new comedy from NBC starring Matthew Perry. We've all just seen it. Liz, you'd like to tell us a little more?
All right, well, we have showrunner Scott Silveri, and he is one of the executive producers of Friends, one of the co-creators of Joey.
Oh, I love Joey.
Everybody loves Joey.
I watched every season.
And it's a half-hour sitcom starring, as you said, Matthew Perry.
Yeah, he's great. I love him on Friends.
I love him on Go On. I thought it was really great. I thought it was actually perfect casting. I mean, you take someone who is snarky and sardonic and throw him into a radio sports jockey. It worked perfectly.
Matthew Perry is this lovable jerk whose wife has just died, so he can be even more of a jerk, and we're still okay with it because we're like, well, his wife just died.
Yeah, and it's not actually a completely original concept. I mean, it's this idea that his workplace is mandating that he goes to therapy before he jumps right back into...
Only happens in sitcoms.
Right, yeah. You must go to therapy to make our workplace a more cohesive unit. And
take off time from work.
Exactly. Like, that doesn't happen very often never happened in my workplace before.
It isn't like a quip fest. It's not Matthew Perry just being witty and hilarious. It's very emotionally realistic, and I feel like when he says things to people, it's not just like for off-screen laughter.
Even the characters on the periphery, I thought they were original, they were interesting, they were funny. And because of this concept of this group therapy, you automatically feel empathy for them because they've all gone through something horrible.
Such horrible lives. Yeah, it's great. The cast of characters in the therapy room is a great group of people, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of fun.
Opposite Matthew Perry, we have Laura Benante from the Playboy Club as the therapist in charge of the Transitions Therapy Group.
And I thought she was great. I thought she was beautiful, but substantial as an actress and interesting as a character.
What exactly qualifies you to tell people anything?
I have been involved in outreach and self-realization for almost a decade.
That sounds almost as meaningless as Transitions, a group for mindful life change and the journey of the wonderment of wonder.
Stop it. I have led groups, and I have helped thousands of people in a well-renowned international outreach program.
Called?
What?
Huh? Lauren.
Weight Watchers.
I think that's hilarious because anyone who goes to Weight Watchers knows it's like instant therapy in that room. And maybe it's an in-joke for us Weight Watchers girls, but it was very funny.
It's cool that they play on the idea of that where, like, Matthew Perry is going to therapy, but really he's the therapist.
Yeah, it certainly seems like he's gonna help these people out as much as they're gonna help him.
Here are the brackets. You've all made it to the tournament. Congratulations.
Oh.
Now, we're gonna go head to head. You got 5 seconds to tell your sob story. Winners advance. We go a couple of rounds and we know once and for all who rules the land. Are you in?
We could call it March Sadness.
In terms of acting, everybody's really good. Matthew Perry is sort of toned down from his Chandler days. He's still snarky and he's still mean and funny in that way, but a little less manic about it and a little less of a jerk. But also trying to get to the root of his problems, which is why I love the show. It gets serious. Like, when he talks about his wife and what happened, like, I was sad.
It's very much sort of this new hybrid genre of dramedy that finally we're starting to see on television, where if it's a half hour, it doesn't just have to be laugh a minute.
Oh yeah, everything is really grounded, and I think also the look of the show is very grounded because of the fact we have a nice gauzy but natural look to everything. A lot more natural light, a lot less sitcom-y, a lot less plasticky than a lot of comedic shows these days.
The show's not afraid to take it slow sometimes. There are little musical scenes.
But where's it gonna go? I mean, there's a difference between taking it slow and, like, using, one idea for a whole season. I mean, at the end of this episode, there isn't a reason to force him to go to therapy anymore. So I guess he's gonna continue to go because he wants to go.
Which is great. He's an active character now.
That's great that he got to grow. Yes, I agree. But, like, what are they gonna do in therapy? Like, are they gonna talk about their feelings in 9 different ways? I really don't think so.
I don't know, but I feel actually really secure watching the show, knowing that it knows where it's going, because the pilot was so strong that I'm not worried about the second episode. I am genuinely looking forward to the next episode. See it.
It's an emotionally realistic comedy drama. See it.
I love Matthew Perry. Watch the show. See it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Huzzah.
Some of the movie titles out on DVD, Blu-ray, and on demand this week include Pirates, Band of Misfits, Battleship, Think Like a Man, and The Lucky One. A few of the TV seasons being released are Homeland and the second seasons of both Boardwalk Empire and The Walking Dead. Our download pick of the week is Pirates, Band of Misfits, a charming animated family film from Nick Park. When David, Liz, and Aaron reviewed it on our show, they gave it an enthusiastic see it, and we know that if you download it, buy the Blu-ray, or see it on pay-per-view, you'll love it too. Our reviewers also said see it to Think Like a Man, stream it to The Lucky One, and skip it to Battleship. You can check out our review of Pirates, Band of Misfits, or any of our reviews at www.justseenit.com. Arr!
Three brothers are prohibition bootleggers living the American dream.
There's a feeling around these parts that Boris Bondurant is indestructible.
Life is good until authorities threaten to cut into their profits.
Oh, what, you gonna shoot me, huh?
I'm the one who's going to make your life real difficult from now on if you don't toe the line, country boy.
With an unlikely ally, they wage an all-out war against the police in Lawless.
Welcome. I'm Leah.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Sean, and we're here to talk about the movie Lawless, directed by John Hillcoat and starring Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy. We've all just seen it. And these are very nice costumes, by the way.
You like
Do we
that?
shop at the same place?
I think that we shop at Bootleggers R Us.
Mm-hmm. I feel tough. I feel like I could just, where's my brass knuckles? That's what I need.
Lawless is a big screen adaptation of a novel that is yet to be released, written by Matt Bondurant. He is the grandson and great-nephew of the Bondurant brothers, who were these notorious bootleggers during Prohibition way back up in Fairfax County in Virginia.
I believe that the book is actually called The Wettest County in the World.
I think you're absolutely
right. And that
was
what this movie was originally called before they changed it to Lawless.
Law enforcement decides that they want to muscle in on this business and get a piece of the action. And Guy Pearce plays our uber villain, Charlie Rakes. He is a
baddie bad guy. He is an evil man.
So he sets his sights on Forrest Bondurant, played by Tom Hardy. So it becomes this struggle between these corrupt law enforcement agents and these slightly amoral bootleggers who really want to stand their ground.
There's a lot that this story could have done. I mean, for me, I was watching it, I was just like, okay, you know, and we're not going there. There's a lot of false starts. A lot of false starts where they'd sort of start following one character, then they'd sort of pull back. I kept thinking it was going to be a story about Jack, who is the youngest of the three Bondurants.
That's Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
And he is the weakling brother. There's times when, like, the older brothers are having a rough time and you think, well, he's going to step up. He's going to be the guy. And he doesn't.
The biggest problem for me with this film was the plotting. I felt like the writing didn't really do service to the talent and the look of the film. The plot was always kind of struggling to contain all of these different elements, the different storylines, the different characters.
The group that made this is Nick Cave, the screenwriter, and the director John Hillcoat, who made The Proposition a few years ago, which I think is one of the best of the modern-day Westerns.
He also did The Road.
And so I was disappointed as well. I mean, the moral ambiguity aspect that you're talking about, which you know, is here. It's inviting us to sort of relish that and experience it. It's not deep enough. They don't go into it. There's too many characters in this movie. I mean, the cops have, I don't know how many people on their side. And it's not just these three brothers. I mean, they've got this other guy who's a crippled guy who's working
Cricket, played by Dane DeHaan.
Who's doing a lot of things for them, who's making the stills that they're brewing.
He soups up the car.
And I gotta say, he's one of the only characters who I felt was someone I cared about, because like you said, there are so many characters. He took the place of the Shia LaBeouf character. Yeah. He ended up becoming the heart of the film, whereas I thought the main guy who's got all the screen time should have taken that role.
Oh, you gotta be kidding. What, you got a better idea?
It's hard to sort of feel the suspense of the picture or feel the emotion of the picture when there's so many people that these events are happening to that you just don't know about.
The plot lacks a structural integrity. It doesn't seem to really be clear about where it's planting, you know, its beam and its posts. And so consequently,
it's the basics of a beginning, middle, and end.
You have to show us how things are related through cause and effect.
Because what you have is stuff that happens to these characters, and they are not impacted.
And as a result, there's no build, there's no growing, there's no tension.
I mean, and you make a promise to an audience when you see something that looks like it's going to be a violent end to a person, and then all of a sudden they're miraculously okay with no explanation. I've never been so disappointed that someone didn't die. So I will say this, the acting in this film is very solid. Shia LaBeouf does an excellent job of playing a sort of bumbling character. He's the weak link of the group, and it's hard for an actor to play a role that doesn't really arc.
But I thought there was a switch there.
There was a switch.
I thought he kind of did that. He turned from basically a wimp into this sort of vengeful gunman. I mean, I never
but
thought...
he still was off the cuff. He still was,
well,
he wasn't a thinking person. He was still, you know what it was? He was still immature.
It wasn't a character-defining moment. It was a reaction.
Right.
Yeah, it was still
what's problematic with the script.
That's a script problem. I don't think it's a Shia LaBeouf problem.
No,
I mean,
probably not.
I think that he can play both sides of it, and he does it pretty well.
Sure.
But with the script problems, in the sense that there are so many people that this movie's concentrating on...
He doesn't get the chance.
John Hillcoat, you know, the director, did The Proposition, of course, and he's got a good eye, I think, for cinematography, for setting the stage of his scenes. The problem here, at least from a directorial standpoint, is I think he didn't find enough underneath the script. He just kind of shot what was there. He shot it in an interesting way, but he couldn't find anything else to really sink his teeth into as a director.
I agree. I think that he was able to capture moments or events, but the way in which they are assembled all into the same film, it's just flat.
Yeah, there aren't levels.
Lawless belongs to a genre of films of which there are much better examples. Lawless is listless. Skip it.
This movie starts off with a lot of potential, but the plot never develops. For interesting characters and good performances, I still give it a stream it.
Lawless is unemotional, but it's well acted, it's well made. I think it's worth watching at home. Stream it.
Our votes add up to 1 ticket, which is a stream it for Lawless. Cheers.
This alcohol's illegal, by the way, so drink it fast.
Yeah, right?
Jordana Spiro stars in this new drama from Fox about a brilliant surgeon with a secret.
2, 1.
In order to save her brother from being killed, she agrees to do favors for the mob.
I never agreed to kill somebody.
Grace, we have a deal.
Right.
But by helping her brother, she has put her own life at risk. In The Mob Doctor.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Rachel.
I'm Sean.
And I'm David, and we're here today to talk about the new Fox drama, The Mob Doctor. We've all just seen it. Sean, why don't you start us off?
Sure. The Mob Doctor is about a character played by Jordana Spiro, whose brother has done some crazy, stupid stuff involved with the mob.
Of course.
And now she has to basically be in debt to them. She's giving them free health care. It's set in Chicago, and the showrunners are Josh Berman, who was a producer on CSI, and Rob Wright, who was a producer on Crossing Jordan.
I really enjoyed this drama. I think that Jordana Spiro does a great job of convincing me that she's a doctor. She's also put herself into this awful situation where she has to cater to the mob. And the biggest problem I have with the show is that there's a little too much drama. They kind of pile it on and more things go wrong. And at some point that just kind of crossed my suspension of disbelief.
For me, the problem was not so much the mob part, but the doctor part of The Mob Doctor, where it's just like, how many shows? I mean, we've got ER, we've got Grey's Anatomy, we have so many shows that have had so many strange, unimaginable, like, medical situations that have taken place that when you put in another show with that, I mean, the mob part is interesting, but the doctor plot lines, I just feel like they're a little tired. I've seen them before.
And I can almost see the pitch meeting for this, right?
Pitch it to me, Sean.
So you go in and you go, hey, you remember ER and Grey's Anatomy and Chicago Hope? Those were shows everyone liked, right? What was the biggest and most acclaimed show in the last decade? The Sopranos. Let's combine the two of them, put them in a blender, and come out with the most obvious name available to us, The Mob Doctor.
The guy who plays the mob Don, his
William
character,
Forsythe.
Right, William
Yes.
Forsythe, who plays Constantine. He's actually the most interesting part of the show.
He is. He's splendid. I mean,
Right.
I'm watching the show and I'm looking at these characters, and you know, to me, yes, you have experienced showrunners who have done these shows before. So I feel like everyone was very busy and everyone was very medical seeming and very important, and you know, kind of bland, quite honestly. Except for him, when his character shows up, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is a human element. This is an unusual and a larger character.
But I do want to comment on the showrunners. They clearly have a lot of experience with dramas, and this is a top-notch production. Everything feels real. There's some scenes of real high drama here, some intense action scenes that I don't want to give away, and all of it is executed really well. I enjoy it. I was really on the edge of my seat.
I thought it was exciting, and I mean, I like Jordana Spiro. I hadn't really seen her before. She was in a TBS show called My Boys, but I like her. I think she's got a good presence. I think she's a good person to hang a show around. She's not the most interesting character, like we've mentioned,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I still like her.
That to me is the main thing, is I feel like these characters are about as bland as the hospital rooms they work in. It's just, they're very streamlined. There's nothing about this show that stands out as, like, you know, not done well. It's a well-crafted show in terms of the directing, the editing, all of that. It's just, there's nothing that pops for me. There's no humor, there's no quirkiness. I know it's not a comedic show, but I still feel like I want to see a little bit more about these people.
Well, one of my major issues is I'm just wondering, where can the show go? I mean, essentially at the end, she's in the exact same situation we saw her at the beginning. Basically, the plot is she's going to be forced to do something that the mob wants her to do. She has a moral conundrum as to whether or not she should do it. And it's like, how long can that last? Either she goes with the mob and she loses her license, or she goes against the mob and she gets shot in the head.
But with William Forsythe's character, there's more gray space, there's more wiggle room. I don't know what he's going to do or what he's going to ask, and I feel like there is a friendship there, or at least a history that those two characters have, so I don't think it's going to be quite so black and white.
Right.
And I think she'll push against him a little bit. It's not just going to be him saying, do this or you die. I think it's going to be watching how they interact and how they push each other's buttons. I think there's room there.
I thought this was a pretty good pilot, but I just don't know how much plot there is for the writers to go with, so I'm gonna have to say stream it.
I want more humanity and I want more mob, so I'm giving it a stream it.
I found the pilot pretty thrilling, and I agree with you. I want to see more mob. It's just a matter of delivering on the promise of the premise, so I'm going to give it a see it.
Our votes add up to 2 tickets, which is a stream it for the Mob Doctor.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Michael, I never wanted this for you.
If you're still watching this, then you love movies, or alternatively can't find your remote. But I'm addressing this only to the people who love movies because they're the ones who can change the channel. Movies are an American art form, or more particularly, a Californian one. Though cinema was invented by Thomas Edison, his patent enforcement was so onerous it forced competing producers to move to California to escape his legal reach. And also the weather's just great here. Yes. Once here, the industry exploded with creativity, producing over 400 films a year, most of them B-movies and matinee serials, but some classics as well, like Casablanca, Citizen Kane, and Abbott and Costello Meet the Wolfman. And when the movies could get no bigger, we made them smaller, put them on television, and beamed them around the world. This unique cultural export showed the world what America was and what it could be. So, whether you're seeing Lawless, The Possession, or Oogie Loves in The Big Balloon Adventure, take heart in knowing that you're participating in the true American pastime. Just Seen It will return next Saturday at the same time. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you then.
Just to recap, we gave the Mob Doctor a stream it. We were pretty divided on For a Good Time Call, so we gave it a stream it. And we also gave Lawless a stream it, but everybody really enjoyed Matthew Perry's new NBC sitcom, Go On, so we gave that a 3-way see it. Thank you so much for watching. Please join us again on Just Seen It.
1877,